What's up, Recovery Warrior family? Jay Rizzo here. Another beautiful day out. So I'm down here in Fort Yates hitting the Rez Recovery event. Look them up on Facebook, Rez Recovery. So I'm here at the event and I'm gonna have some speakers and whatnot. I don't know. Just thank you guys for following along. Thank you for watching. Let's go take a look.
Hide my addiction and whatever, but it just didn't work out, and ended up losing my kids just off to the state, and that was really hard. That really put my addiction into full force. You know, I just went straight into it and ended up getting in trouble, and I still tried to keep in contact with my kids, but it was really hard. Hard to juggle both lives or whatever, and I ended up losing my apartment, and and I was homeless. I ended up catching some charges and going to prison, and I went through the whole treatment thing in prison, the whole Sabisa, but I knew I wasn't ready to be done. I got out and went right back to it, but this time it was like when you go to prison, you meet all these new criminals and you're introduced to a whole nother level, I guess, of of the game, and ended up meeting somebody and got introduced to even more drugs and guns and a whole nother level of a whole nother world, I guess you can say. And yeah, that went on for probably 2 years, and the person I was with ended up catching a drug and gun charge and got federally indicted. And a year later, I picked up my own gun and possession charge, and went to prison for it. I got 2 years straight time, and still I went through Sabisa, I went through all the DOCR treatments, and I worked that program. I worked through a lot of my traumas, and really worked through a lot of things, especially dealing with losing my kids, and really worked that program, but I knew I wasn't going to be done. I knew I wasn't going to be done using. And I told my treatment counselor that, you know, I wasn't ready to be done, but I was working those steps. And the same day I got out of BTC, and I was using right as I was leaving. And but I mean, I took a lot out of every time I went to treatment. You know, every time I wanted to be sober, you know, I wanted it to work, but it was just like my mind frame wasn't there yet. And so yeah, I got out and I started using again, and I tried to stay in contact with my family, but it was like, knowing that I was using, I wasn't going to stay in contact with them. I was going to end up pushing them away. I got my own apartment, and still was the same thing. I was still, you know, talking to the same people, hanging with the same crowd, and just jumped right back into using and pushing, and in and out of jail. But this last time I was in and out of jail, I started going to AA, and I wanted it to work. You know, I wanted to work that program. And when I would go to AA, there was one of the AA ladies really stuck out to me, and her story was kind of like the things that I was going through with the gun and drug charge. I can't get, you know, a good job. I can't even get a place, you know. And her story really stuck out to me when I was in jail and going to AA meetings. And she had gun and drug charges and big possession charges and distribution charges, and but she was like 2 years clean, and going into the jails, doing AA meetings. And one thing that really stuck out to me was, yeah, these charges are gonna hold you back from having a good life, and you know, those are just barriers that you have to overcome. And I always remember that, like she would talk about, you know, the things that she was going through or the things that she did. Like she always had nothing less than a quarter pound of meth on her all the time, and I was like, dang, that's a lot of meth. but I was in that position before too, you know, and carrying a lot of drugs and a lot of money, and but she was out there doing it. She had her own business. She had a cleaning business. She had a painting business, and that her story really stuck out to me and it still does. And it's like, yeah, those things can hold you back, but those are just barriers that you have to overcome. And anyways, yeah, I still went in and out of jail, and I still didn't take my sobriety seriously. I didn't take my recovery seriously. I just got out and would go right back to the same thing. And yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of people that go through DOCR and get locked up, and they can work that program, and that's awesome. You know, I wish I would have learned my lesson the first time, but it took, you know, 3 or 4 years for me to go through those things, and in and out of jail for a long time, and away from my kids. But well, I guess so I was in my addiction for about 5 or 6 years, and then I was still staying in contact with my daughters, and but they were in foster homes and they were under the state, so it was just like I had the mentality that they were better off without me, and that's not true. But fast forward to 2023, I was homeless. I was sleeping on people's couches. I was just staying in hotels. You know, I was just lost. I was really lost, and I was ready to be done. And my auntie kept at me. She just kept at me. You know, like, you need to come home. You need to come help me. And my grandma got sick, and my auntie kept telling me to come home, and I wouldn't listen. And finally, she called me, and she said, "That's it now. You need to come home and help me with grandma." And I was still just like, still trying to hustle, and still trying to do dumb shit. And me and my sister ended up getting into a fight, and I called my daughter. This is my daughter. I called my daughter and asked her to come pick me up. And finally, I just decided, you know, I'm done. I'm done. This isn't even worth it. You know, what am I doing? I'm having my daughter drive me here and there. Like, I just need to fucking knock it off and come down here. And so we did. I gave her whatever money, or we put the money in gas, and we came down here. And that was on June 1st, 2023. We came down here and we seen my grandma. And she was still talking, and she was still visiting with us, and she was surrounded by family. And June 2nd is when she passed away, and we were all there. And so June 2nd, 2023 is my sobriety date. My grandma got to see me sober before she passed away. And that's my biggest motivation is, for me, for myself, is she got to see me sober before she passed away. And it's been hard. I mean, that's probably what pushes a lot of people over the edge is death, but I turn that into motivation to keep doing good. my daughter Miley stayed with us. So all of my kids were under the state. Cadence was the one that aged out. Miley ended up staying, and I talked my auntie into getting custody of her, and just, it was fast, just like that, you know. She just called the state and was like, okay, we want to keep Miley, and it just happened so fast, you know, and so she stayed with us, and wait, let me go back. So June 2nd, my grandma passed away. I think it was the next day my daughter found out she was pregnant with my grandson, and so it was like all these things, you know, it was just like more motivation for me to knock my shit off. And I guess I really didn't make the decision to stay sober. It just happened, you know, and it came down to like 2 to 3 weeks I was living with my auntie, and I was like, okay, maybe I should go now, you know, and she sat me down and like, hey, you gotta stay here with me. I can't do this, you know, I can't do this alone. And my daughter stayed too, and yeah, that's how it started with getting my kids back. We got her back first, and then we got my nephew Leland back, which is my sister Jordan's daughter, and it just, I wasn't working a program or anything, but I was working on my sobriety. You know, I was working on cravings. I was remembering, you know, I was reading my NA book and my AA book, and it was hard, but I really surrounded myself with my family, and I'm thankful that I had that support. I'm thankful for my auntie. I'm thankful for my Uncle Cowboy. You know, they were my biggest supports. They were my biggest. They were there, you know, when I was struggling, and I really had to take myself out of the situation up in Bismarck. You know, that's where I was getting in trouble a lot, and just really kept myself at home. You know, and then. So it was June is when I got sober, and then June, July, August. The end of August, the beginning of September is when I started beading. My auntie and my daughter taught me how to bead, and it was just like the basics or whatever, and I just took off from there. I just like threw myself into that hobby and just fell in love with it, and that. I'm thankful for that, because it really took my mind off of, you know, wanting to go use, wanting to go back to that lifestyle, wanting to go back to hustling, you know. And it's a big thing to get used to, like having money all the time, having drugs all the time, to not having, you know, to humbling yourself. That's a big that was probably the hardest thing for me. You know, is not having money, and I have everything I need in my house. You know, I have a roof over my head, I have food, I have clothes, I have everything I need. I don't need extra money. I don't need, you know, that was a big trigger for me, is having money. It's like, okay, man, I can go to Bismarck, I can get a ball of dope and flip it, and I just had to really take myself out of that frame of mind, that thinking, and that was probably the hardest thing for me to overcome. And so I humbled myself and made myself go without, I mean, not go without, but, you know, like not deal with money for a long time. It's hard to teach yourself that. And yeah, it's been a hard road of recovery, but I have so many motivators, and having my kids back in my life, and another thing was my grandson. Having my grandson was one of the best things. One of the best things I've ever got to experience. Being there sober when my daughter had him, that was a big thing for me, because a year before I wouldn't have been able to do that. You know, I would have been able to I wouldn't have been able to be there for my daughter. I wouldn't have been able to be there for my family. And my daughter went through, I don't know if she even wants me to share, but she went through her own struggle with addiction, and that broke my heart. Because it was like, what am I teaching my kids, you know? My kids see me, my kids were seeing me, you know, doing whatever high, and it's like leading by example. And I couldn't do anything about it, you know. I could say all these things to her, but it was like, she's seen me doing the same things, you know? So it's like, I felt like a hypocrite sometimes, but anyways, yeah, she's, is it a year now? A year sober? And I'm so proud of her, you know. She's come a long way, and you don't hear too many people that go and get sober without going to treatment, or without, you know, getting locked up or whatever, and she has, you know. And I mean, we both have, but it's crazy. I mean, with the support that we have, you know, and it's probably, it is really hard, you know. It's hard not having that the structure and that stability, and it's like you have to learn how to rebuild all that on your own. And but we're doing it, you know. And last December, I got approved for a house, and honestly, I didn't ever think that I would have my own house. After all the things that I've been through, you know, after all of my criminal history, everything, I didn't ever think that was possible. I didn't ever think, you know, I just thought I was going to be living with my family for the rest of my life, and that was okay, you know. But yeah, I got approved for a house for me and my daughter and my grandson, and yeah, and now I guess that she's a big part of my story too, is because they're a big part of my life, you know, my grandson. And now she's in college, and it's really something to be proud of, you know. We both come a long ways, and and what else was I gonna talk about? Oh, my beating. So now I'm 2 years into beating, and I guess another big motivator for me was that lady in AA when we were in jail, and how she talked about getting her own businesses off the ground, and making that a life for herself. So I never thought that beating was gonna be that for me. I didn't ever think beating was gonna be was gonna become, you know, like my business or whatever. And so I've been doing vendor shows, and recently we went to a powwow and Eagle Butte, and events in Eagle Butte, and my auntie came to me and was like, okay, well, you should start becoming legit now, you know, and getting your business license, and getting a website up. You know, I already post things on Facebook, but yeah, it's I didn't think about it like that, you know, until a couple nights ago. I was having a conversation with someone, and they're like, well, that is your business, you know. That's you're pretty much doing the same thing that lady at AA was talking to you about, you know, about having your own business. And it does, it pays the bills now, you know. And it's been, I guess I didn't think about it like that until someone else put it into perspective for me. And coming this far with my beading business, and actually getting a business license for it, making t-shirts, having business cards, you know, it's cool, you know, it's cool to see that, you know, how far I've come, and it's only been 2 years, or a little bit over 2 years. So yeah, that's a bigger, or one of the main reasons, or one of the main motivators for my recovery too is beading. You know, that was my healing. Another thing too was now that I'm not under DOCR, I'm not in trouble. I want to go back and work the steps and redo them, because before it was like I went through the steps because I had to, you know, I had to go through that for DOCR. And now that I'm in a different place in my life, I want to go through the steps and work the steps again for myself, you know, just to see how much it's changed for me, because I know it has, you know, and I hear a lot of people like, well, what step are you on? I'm not on any steps right now. I haven't worked the steps since I was in DOCR, but I do try to get to meetings sometimes, and it's not as much as I want it to be. But Rez Recovery really helps out, really helped with my healing, and doing the peer support training. But yeah, Rez Recovery is like, I've never gotten out of my comfort zone and gotten up and talked in front of people before, and I'm thankful that I get the opportunity to do this. You know, it's so much healing behind this, behind Rez Recovery, and getting up and telling your story. And yeah, with that, I'll pass.
All right, guys, that was one speaker. Let's take a look. See what's going on.
I'm just gonna say this.
All right, guys, we just got done eating, checking it out. Full as hell. Had some couple hot dogs, couple glizzies. But yeah, I'm here with my brother. We'll ask him his name, see what he's all about. What's your name, bro?
Nick. My name's Nick. My full name is Nicholas Blackcloud.
Awesome. So what you doing here, Nick?
I'm here to tell my story for the first time on a Rez.
Yeah.
My Lakota name is Mato. That was given to me a few years ago.
Cool. How long you been in recovery, Nick?
8 months now. Been on 8 months. My sobriety date is 1/24/25.
Oh yeah. How do you do it?
Program, being in sober living, going to meetings,
Nice.
working the steps.
Cool.
And mainly doing it for myself and my kids.
Shout out to your kids, huh?
Yeah.
You want to shout them out? You can. You got any shout outs to anybody?
Not really, not at the moment.
F them. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, good to see you, Nick, man. We'll go in there and hear your story.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just take a look, see what's going on. All right, brother. Thank you. Oh, who's this guy? Who's this guy?
This is Ansel.
What's up, to you, Ansel?
I'm good.
How you been?
I'm good.
Hanging in there?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm alive.
Cool.
Woke up today.
Woke up by the grace of God.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Awesome. All right. All right, guys, we'll be right back. All right, guys, we're gonna head back in. Oh, who do we have here?
Hi, I'm
Oh,
Jana.
what's your name? Jana, huh? What's you about, Jana? What's going on here?
We have Rez Recovery happening here. A lot of people telling their recovery stories, their journeys, giving hope and inspiration, and yeah, and fellowship, right?
Awesome.
Connection. That's what
Yeah.
it's about, right? Helping each other.
Yes. So, Jana, how long have you been in recovery?
I have been in recovery myself a little over 10 years now from
Nice.
alcohol and drugs.
Awesome.
And
That's what it's about. How do you
Yeah.
do it?
meetings, God. I work the 12-step program. I work a well-variety program. I facilitate meetings. I help other people get out of myself. That's
Nice.
what helps me, right?
Yeah.
But keeping God first through everything.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Jana. And who do we have here?
What's up, guys?
Hi. What's your name?
My name is Tia.
Awesome.
My name is Tia Yellow. I'm an alcoholic and addict. Next month, October 27th, I will have 1 year.
October 27th?
Yes,
Nice.
yes. Yeah, I work for the treatment center. I don't know if I just know that, but I work as a peer support specialist. If you ever are struggling or need someone to talk to, I'm just a phone call away, or message me on Messenger. But yeah, just reach out. That's all it takes.
How did they find you on Facebook?
Tia Rose Z,
Okay.
Z-I, as in yellow for the Lakota term.
Awesome. All
All
right,
right.
thanks, Tia.
Yep.
Awesome. Who do we have here, brother?
Ah,
Who are you and what's your name? What are you about, brother?
my name is Dean Loveswar. I
Awesome.
just got back from Rapid.
Oh, okay. You in recovery, Dean?
I work for Standing Rock Treatment Center here. And
Nice.
part of these guys.
Yeah,
Try to
you-
help out as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this is a good program here, this Rez Recovery. The message that they share, that's the medicine our people need, you know.
Nice. How long you been in recovery, Dean?
Probably going on 30 years, close to 30
Holy
years.
smokers.
But
Nice.
it's
Yeah?
kind of hard for me to talk right now. I
Yeah.
just can't-
No problem. I just thought I'd put you on the spot. I seen him walking in. All right, guys, let's go take a look. I think they're having lunch here. But yeah. Whoa, whoa. Bees. Hello, sisters.
Oh my gosh.
You mind being on YouTube, Recovery Word channel?
Sure.
All right. What's your name, sister?
I'm Lexi. I'm an addict.
Awesome. How long you been in recovery, Lexi?
My clean date is 11/19/23.
Oh yeah. Congrats. How do you do it?
I work a NA program. Got a sponsor. Work the steps. I sponsor other women. I'm also of service. I'm part of H&I and area activities and all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
How about you, sister? What's your name and?
Cadence Birdhorse,
Okay.
and I've been sober for about a year in November.
Awesome. Good job. How do you do it?
I keep myself busy. I'm in
Yeah.
school, and I have a son.
Sponsored?
No, I've never been to treatment.
Okay.
That's all I have.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
All right. We're just cruising around. I think they're about ready to start. We were on our lunch break,
What did I
so
say? I blacked out.
we will see what's going on. Thank you. Oh, hey, there you are. What's your name?
Hi, Tammy Birdhorse.
Tammy Bird. I was just teasing. She's like, what about me?
Yeah,
No.
you forgot
Hi,
about
Tammy.
me. Hi.
How long you been in recovery?
I am a parent of a daughter that is in recovery.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So your support.
Yes, I am.
How is it being a support?
It is better now that we have Rez Recovery and our peer supports.
Awesome.
They're very supportive.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Looks like we're getting ready to start, so that's all right, guys. I'll be back. All right, guys. That was Rez Recovery. Let's cruise around and go see. I think we're just not gonna get weird ending. So check it out. Who's it? What's your name?
Tara,
How long you been in recovery, Tara?
how long?
Yeah.
For 2 years and 3 months.
Awesome. How do you do it?
Going to treatment, sober living, getting a sponsor, and going through the steps.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Tara. Thank you. All right, guys. That was the Rez Recovery event. Looks like they're cleaning up. I'm gonna go outside, but yeah, It's always been awesome checking these out, you know, seeing people in recovery and just being able to go to these kind of events, because obviously I wasn't able to walk a couple years ago. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. You know, I try to get footage as much as I can, and it's a nice day out, man. Check it out, Fort Yates, North Dakota. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go home. My second day off, chill, and just have a good time. I don't know, if you like what you see, hit that like. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe. Love you. Bye.